Whenever you receive an award of this magnitude, you wonder whether you're really worth it or not. I'd like to tell you about 3 other awards I've had in my life that are very important to me. First one goes back 70 years. And I promise on my Cub Scouts honor, this is not a fairy tale, but a true story. Myself and 7 other Cubs showed up at our new den mother's house in our knickered uniforms, because we didn't have long pants in those days. And we knocked on the door, and the lady came to the door and she said, "Oh, I guess they didn't tell you I'm not going to be your den mother." Well, this was kind of a shock. So with that, she said sorry, and she closed the door. So we sat there on the curb and we said, well, what are we going to do? And we decided that we would pick our den mother. So we drew straws, and as fate would have it, I drew the short straw. So we lived in the government World War II project. We walked across the project to my mother's door, and we knocked on the door, and she came to the door and we said, "Congratulations!" And she said, "For what?" "We just selected you for our new den mother." She looked at us and she said, "You're out of your mind. This would never happen." 30 years later, I sat, as you were sitting, watching a ceremony in which my mother was presented the silver farm. In those days, women weren't eligible for the silver beaver. For 30 years of continuous service as a den mother, this is the silver farm. Just before she died, she gave me this and her certificate so that it would not be lost. Usually it resides in the Council Museum in Spartanburg. But I brought it along with me tonight so that in spirit she can share in this award. And that's my first one. My second most important award in my life. You know, when you're a kid and you join Scouts, you look forward to being an Eagle Scout. I worked hard, and I wasn't really that swift a kid. But I finally made Eagle, and I stood on the stage in Philadelphia with a group of other young men. We got our Eagle, and I thought, man, that's the best thing going. But I was wrong. Because later on, again, I sat in a group as you did, and I watched our district executive, Glenn Gray, present the Eagle Award to my son, Kevin. That's the most important and the greatest gift that a father can have. To share that. That meant far more than my own. The third one is an unusual one, because this one has never been presented and probably never will be. This award belongs to the person who has walked beside me for 40 years. And when my duty as a Scout professional took me away for weeks at a time, I missed my family, but I never worried about them because I knew that this person was raising my children, our children, to be the kind of people they are today that I'm very proud of. That was my third most important award in my life. You know, as I look out, I see a lot of people, some of whom work with me and, as they say, for me. Many volunteers over the years. I've probably served as a mentor for thousands of young men and women, employees and volunteers. Each time I worked with them, it made me a better person. On the other side of the coin, I look out and I see those who were they've made me better. So to both of you, those who I've mentored, and those who have mentored me, please share in the support. If you're concerned about possibly that scouting is on the downtrend or not what it used to be, I spent the last 2 weeks, I'm part of the regional assessment team that goes into scout camps. If you want to see what scouting is all about, just visit one of the scout camps. Just see what's happening out there. I asked the young man, I said, is this your first year? Oh no, this is my second year. And I said, well, do you like this year or last year's? And he looked at me, got a puzzle, and he said, I'll let you know at the end of the week. That was a good answer. You know, over the years, my partner has worked with me. We've been everywhere. And every place that we have been, there always seems to be a cub pack or a scout troop that needs to be formed, or a cub pack and a scout troop that needs to be reformed, and we could never turn them down. There were always camps that we got better. There were roundtables, we were roundtable commissioners. We were a great team. She did all the work. I took all the credit. I could tell you, like I would come back from a trip, and she would hand me and say, here is your pack meeting agenda for tonight. Already done, everything ready. All I had to do was the best thing I did, and that was to get up and make a fool of myself for an hour. But we made a great team, and we still make a great team. And all through the ups and the downs, to the cancer and the heart and all this sort of thing, she has been with me. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I carry that award, Scout's Honor, I carry that award in my heart. Many years ago, when I was a young scouter, and I was kind of, you reach those points where you're kind of down in the dumps and that, and I made a comment to an old-time scouter that I had a great respect for. He said, here, take this card. He said, if you ever feel down, take it out of your wallet, look at it, and it'll bring you back up again. And if you see anybody else, show that card. For 3 decades, I carried that card in and out of my wallet until it got so badly that it just disintegrated. But I remember what it said. This is my closing thought. That's a good idea. It said simply, 100 years from today, it will not matter what size house you lived in, or what style car you drove,